Good morning, everybody. Hello, how are you? I'm just getting myself ready here. It is Mother's Day weekend. For all of you mothers out there, I'm sending you all love, 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 and all that other good stuff. Hopefully, you have the blessings coming your way. The universe is answering all of your wants and needs and all that beautiful energy and all that good stuff. Sorry, I'm just kind of like, I got to prepare, do a little bit of clearing. It's such a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Let's light some Palo Santo for everybody. It's going to be of healing. The fire brings us warmth. It brings us clearing. It brings us light when there is darkness. And the Palo Santo or sage, whatever you like, whatever your preference is, it brings us clearing. It brings us energy. I love the Palo Santo. For whatever reason, it brings me energy. It brings, I don't know, it always gives me a feeling of honoring my ancestors and honoring traditions of different ways of doing things. Some people light the Palo Santo to clear a room, but I also like to light it because it brings us, to me, it's a wholesome feeling, an honoring of our ancestors, like I said, and all of those lovely things. The smoke. To me, the answers come in the smoke as well. It's a beautiful energy. This is a new stick of Palo Santo. The one I had before was not very pretty. I think after a while, they just kind of. So today, this morning, I light a new one for all of us out here. Good stuff. Beautiful energies here. Hello, Miss Kate. How are you? Keith says hi, Kate. I know, he's all, she never called me. He's such a nut. This guy. So anyways, today's show, it's this morning I was doing a quick meditation and it was I sat here yesterday and I talked to my grandmother. Well, it was like late last night. Kate says hi, honey. And it was funny because I told my grandmother, I told Nana, I said, what am I going to talk about, Nana? And Nana says, you know what? Talk about the moms, the women, the warriors, that it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to be tired. It's okay to slow down. The picture that I post sometimes, I don't know if you guys seen the picture. The picture that I posted for today's video is a lady. Excuse me. It's a lady and she's in the middle and she's laying in the nest. She's laying in the nest and she's coming back. It's not a picture of sadness, but to me it represents a picture of coming back to oneself. The nest represents our home and who we are. And with, just like the birds, with each and every branch, every little piece of whatever they find to make their nest, they did it with them, on their own, piece by piece. Every single little piece that they brought in, they created a home of love, of nurturing, of safety. And sometimes we have to go within our own nest to nurture ourselves, to come back to ourselves, to rest, to replenish ourselves. As mothers, we walk each and every day in the power of honoring our families, our children, ourselves, our heritage, our work, all of the things that we are as women. We wear so many different hats and so many different masks. As mothers, we are the nurses. We are when our children get hurt, we have to nurse them. We have to help to heal them. When they feel sick, we are we take care of them, and we do all those extra things. And from the moment that we carry them in our bodies, from the moment they're conceived, we show them the way. We show them the path. Now, for those of you that don't know, I am a grandmother. My daughter is an excellent mother. She takes very good care of my daughters, and it's fun. Or my granddaughters, and it's funny because there's certain things when we talk. She says, she doesn't realize that she does certain things the way that I did when they were little, and she's like, "Holy shit! I think I'm my mom." Sometimes she'll be like, "Wait, that's familiar." And I'm like, yes, it is very familiar, right? So when we look at mothers, we are able to understand that as mothers, we do the best that we can. We're not always perfect, and we're not always going to be what they need. We're not always going to be their friend. We're not always going to be give the best advice that for what they may want at that. And it's funny because, no means no. No doesn't mean yes. Sometimes, here and there. We spoil them. We go out of our way to try to give them the best life that they had, better than ourselves. That's the same parent thing. I just want to give them what we never had, growing up. Blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? That whole spiel. So with the mothers today are so different. I look back at my grandmother, at Nana, and how her growing up, how I suffered. Those are every time. She would always tell me and my sister how we, you girls have it so easy. The washing machine, and I've talked about this in the before. My grandmother's laughing right now. She's like, it's so true. Washing machine, the dishwasher, I had to do everything by hand. The refrigerator, the big block of ice that she had in there, and we had to go to the store, go get the big block of ice, put it in there, and we don't have microwaves. Oh my God, my grandmother's so funny. Nana was so funny. She had a microwave. I don't like to use it. She wouldn't use it. Certain times she would. Most of the time she wouldn't use it. For certain, like popcorn or whatever, certain things, yeah, she would, but most of the time she's like, it was one of those things. Nothing like an old school comal with tortillas and beans and rice and whatever like that. Everything was on the oven. Everything was on the stove, Nothing was ever, quick. For her, let me just throw something together quick. 2 hours later, you know what I mean? She's got this phenomenal meal. It's just one of those things. Nothing was ever, it was always a big deal, always good food, those kind of things. So we look and we honor and we cherish the women around us, whether they were our mothers, our grandmothers, our aunties, whoever they were, whoever the mother was in your life, we look at them and we honor them and we cherish them. We go to the ones where the mothers that had the only ability that they had, that they could, what they were brought up with themselves. We have fathers that are mothers and father. We also honor and we cherish them as well. There's many different forms of a mother. There's many different forms of someone who is able to nurture a child. Meaning, sometimes our teacher was. I remember my kindergarten teacher, Miss Pete. Sweetest, most kindest, loving lady who just absolutely loved children. I don't know if she ever had children herself, but I seen her like years down the road. She came in to have her blood drawn this one time. I was already grown with my children gone, blah, 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 all that stuff. And it was truly amazing. I remember her as if I had just been in elementary school. She took me back to a place in time. Still looked the same, still lovely as ever, just beautiful person. So we remember those people that are in our lives along our trails, along our path, our journey, the people that helped that gave us those patience, or that gave us those moments, those extra moments to lead us on our way, to guide us on our journey, to help us on our path. And when we look at people around us, we think, now there's a lovely mother, or a lovely, somebody we see, and it doesn't necessarily be their mother. It's just an overall person that just loves children and loves to nurture. We honor those people today. We honor those people all the time. We acknowledge them. I acknowledge them. Because sometimes, it takes an extra person to step into somebody's life, even if it's for a brief moment, for a season. My children would come over, when they got in middle school, high school. I was always the house, or we were always the house. I was the mother that, you would see the kid that, my kids' friends, whatever. Hey, mom, can they come over? Yeah, okay, come on over. And you could tell they needed a little acknowledgement, a little extra, right? So I would always, can you stay for dinner? Is it okay? You know what I mean? And I became the mom house. You know what I mean? People would come over and the kids would be like, hey, what's up, mom? I was mom for all the kids, that kind of thing. And it's a lovely, lovely feeling. It's a lovely to be able to give that to a young mind that just needs that little bit of nurturing. And when you look back, when I look back, I don't know if my kids still, I just hope that they acknowledge that they are loved. They are important. They are who they are. Even regardless of what the situation may be around them, love is always there. Absolutely good stuff. So today, we honor and we cherish the mothers, the fathers, the people around us, those that have stepped in and done those things for those that may have not been around, that may not have had that kind of guidance or that love or that energy given at that time in their need. So hopefully everybody's having a wonderful day, a wonderful time. Keith and I are going to be working this weekend, so you know the drill. We'll be working, and of course I'll be working around all the children and stuff. So it'll be nice. It'll be a good weekend. So other than that, you know what, Joe? The thing about nurturing ourselves is that there comes a time in our life where we're walking and we're just walking our path, and we're so busy going down a checklist. I got to get the job. I got to make this. I got to do this. I got to do that. And there are times where we forget that in order for me to enjoy those things around me, yeah, the job is not always pleasant. Trust me, I know this. The job is not always pleasant. The home life is not always pleasant. But at the same time, when we're looking in these energies of how am I reacting to certain things? How am I being able to fully be appreciative of my job or different things that come along? Am I in the moment? Is this what I really need in my life right now? This is my thing, is like stretching myself beyond my means and saying yes when I mean to say no. When I'm continuously giving of myself and I'm not able to replenish my energies, I become resentful. Yeah. Oh, shit. Yeah. All the time. People do it all the time. I used to do it and I don't do that no more. It's okay to say no. It's okay to be like, you know what? Let me tell you. And Debbie and I have talked about this many times. There's some days where, yeah, I straight up, I don't want to do my show. There's some days where I don't want to do my show because I'm like, you know what? I don't think I can give the viewers exactly what I need, because I need to go back within myself. So yeah, sometimes I do take a day where I'm like, I can't do it. I can't be here. I can't be here right now because I need to come back to self, because I have something going on. The message, every message, before I start my show, I say a prayer. Nana comes with me and we say a prayer. And everything that we do is with a message of love, unconditional love, right? Encouragement. In the words that I share, I ask the universe to help to provide me with the knowledge that it's going to activate those that are ready for the message. And those that watch the video later on down the road, when they watch it, they're going to watch it with purpose, and the activations that they receive from me will help them. I always use the example of watching a movie. I watch a movie and there's deep messages in the movie, but yet I'm not into the movie because for whatever reason I just can't get my mind on it, whatever, and I'm like, okay, fine, whatever, I'll watch the movie later. Whether it's a day, a year, a week, or whatever down the road, I watch the same movie and all of a sudden, boom, it triggers me. It absolutely triggers me. And I'm like, why didn't I see these messages before? Why didn't I feel, I'm like, I gotta watch this, I gotta own this movie, I gotta buy the CD. It's like, it hits home so hard. It changes me. It changes my way of thinking. It's an activation that happens because I was at that point ready to hear that message. I was ready to use that in my everyday life and activate that within me so that I'm able to activate that and send that out here. And this is the thing that I like to say is sometimes we're not ready for the message. It's all about divine timing. You know how I feel about divine timing, but you know what? It is what it is. You can send somebody you can talk to somebody a million times, but until they're ready to hear that message on their level of acceptance, you might as well talk to the wall because they're not going to get it. Sometimes it takes a traumatic event. Sometimes it takes a breakup. Sometimes it takes a shock to the nervous system to awaken a person up. In 2015, I tell you guys, I was in a car accident with my granddaughter. And that completely, boom, different. I mean, I've always been this way. But in 2015, it pole vaulted me to where I am right now. The opening, boom. I saw life differently. That's all it took. I didn't have a near-death experience. It was just the absolute shaking up of my nervous system and the trauma that I went through. It absolutely just, and here I am. Sometimes they say that people that have a spiritual awakening go through either a traumatic event or they ease into it. I was one of those traumatic events that just completely opened me up. It's one of those things where we are acknowledging it along the way, or we're like, well, something's different. We notice the shift, but we don't know what it is. We become more understanding, and we sometimes we find ourselves, this is totally my life experience. I find myself in a situation in a job that somebody completely made my life absolutely miserable. She completely went out of her way to do everything she could to belittle me and to completely make my life a complete nightmare. What ended up happening was that I had to step back because as her being my teacher, that was another thing that pushed me into where to make me to who I am today. At that time, I went through tremendous stress. I resigned myself from that position because I couldn't do it anymore. It took me 2 years to get back to myself. And the lesson that I learned was that I'm grateful for her. True story. I look back and I say to myself, I'm grateful for her because she had pushed every button she possibly could. And she was a teacher to teach me that most people that cross my paths are not going to be as she was, that there are good people out in the world, and that she was very, and I don't like to use the word damaged, I don't like to use the word broken, but she had her own issues. And she thought that by browbeating me, that it was going to make her a better person. So when I look back, when I look back at it now, I'm grateful for her. because she pole vaulted me into my beliefs. She helped me to, and you talk about dark night of the soul. She taught me about how to release and how to let go. Yeah, I walked away from a good job. I walked away from a good job. I walked away from a hard work, everything that I had. But at the same thing, it was one of those things where I absolutely am grateful for her, even through the shit show. And this is a time where people are having to, I see a lot of people shedding new, old skin, renewing themselves. Jill, you're one of them. I think I think that some people she was brought to me. Oh yeah, my grandmother says my grandmother tells me all the time now. She had to be here. You had to see her. You had to know her. And I wasn't the only one. Trust me, I wasn't the only one that she did that to. But guess what? I was the one that came out, and here I am doing this. Other people just quit and they just went somewhere else. They just walked away. Fine, that's good. Everybody, I wish them well. But me, she pole vaulted me into doing this, my life purpose. So I will always be grateful for her. Even though she continues on the same path of rampage and whatever else she does, that's her choice. Maybe that's her life purpose, is to go through people's lives dismantling, to awaken them to their higher purpose or whatever. It's very bizarre. But like I said, I'm grateful for the lessons she taught me. I'm grateful for the strength that she gave me. That I'm able to say no. That I'm able to stand up for myself. That I'm able to walk today much prouder, much more aware of my journey and aware of myself. The eye-opening experience that I went through for those 3 years, 2.5, 3 years or so, I've learned a lot. And sometimes people, like I said, people come into our lives. Either they're the roots of your existence, and they're there to stay, or they're the leaves. They're only meant to stay for a season. And then you get the other people that are branches. When you lean on them, all of a sudden they break. They're not meant to stay. Whether we ask them to leave or they leave by themselves, the universe takes them away. People will find us at the right time. How we accept them and how we endure them, or how we tolerate them or whatever, or how we unconditionally love them, that's on us. Only we can own that. Only we can control that. Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. Oh yeah, you know what? And it was a thing too. It was a thing too because, yeah, we say for a reason or a lifetime. Absolutely. And you know what the thing about it too is, hello, Thais, Asante, how are you doing, hon? Thank you for coming by. You know, and the thing about it too is that um, to be grateful for someone who has shaken up our world so much, but allowing us to blossom, to bloom, is phenomenal. A lot of people, I and see, and that was the thing. A lot of people ask me, how come you're not mad? How come you're not bitter? Why? And how can I be bitter? How can I be angry? How can I still hold any kind of lower vibrational energy towards this woman when I love my life so much right now? When I'm living my life purpose, when I'm living my dream, when I'm able to be prosperous and abundant. I go to work every day and work with children where I'm supposed to be. I wake up every day and I'm grateful for the things that I have. I live a very simple life. I don't, I don't have anything flashy. I don't, okay, besides, my rings and whatever, my crystals, my little thing. I mean, you know me guys, all my little witchy stuff. But other than that, I live a very simple life. I'm not flashy at all. I don't drive a flashy car. And there's nothing wrong with that. Hey, to each your own. To each your own. Whatever your flavor is, whatever your taste buds bring to you that you love, I'm all about it. I think it's beautiful stuff. But just know how truly loved you are. Along our journey, we always think that other people, we have to, and this was me. I was like, you know what? A friend of mine, you need something? Here we go. I'm gonna go fill their fridge. They need it, whatever. Just like how Nana raised us, how it was. Those kind of things. We meet people along the way. They bring us knowledge. They bring us the love that we need at times. A kind word. Sometimes we sit there. Sometimes we sit with people and they do this. They talk and they talk and they talk. And we sit in silence. We may nod here and there. Sometimes yeah, absolutely. I'm acknowledging you because I'm nodding. And what do? We just listen. They don't want to, they just want to do this. They just want to tell you their story without any guidance, without any kind of, oh, well, you did this wrong or you did that. No, sometimes they just need somebody. Hear my side, hear my story. And at the same time that as they're doing that, they're speaking their truth. And in my mind and in my heart, I send them the healing that they need. Allow them to find clarity in their words. Allow this moment, this transaction right here, allow me to shift my energy to them. Fill their heart with unconditional love. To help them heal these words as they come out. So that they no longer detain them in any way. Or hold them back from living a fulfilled life. In all ways, shapes, or form of all the good stuff. The me before would not have those kind of thoughts. I'd be like, you know what, let's just talk about this. You know what I mean? I'd get in on that conversation and be like, yeah, whatever, No. We have to move to a much keener way of existence, of acknowledgement to the things around us, for ourselves, our families, and all of evolution. When it comes to beautiful things, when we come to thinking of how we were nurtured by our mothers, our grandmothers, or whoever was our nurturer, we allow those things to tell us, to guide us in our futures and for our children and our grandchildren. I woke up the morning and I was so happy but overwhelming with only joy, and I had a song in my head over and over. It was the universe singing. Absolutely, Kate. Kate, my sister, when we see ourselves, we see each other every day, pretty much. It seems like every day. Your journey is filled with. When I look at you, Kate, I see so many different little, I want to say, bubbles of different energies and movement and motion and just this high vibrational energy. Everything that's coming to you, sister, you're in the flow. Things are shifting. The energy is moving. We are being pole vaulted into things or moved above higher ways of thinking. Those of you who are out there, who all of a sudden you have those kind of emotions of, I feel love so much more. Things begin coming through to you that you didn't even realize you asked for. But you probably didn't ask them because the universe is bringing them to you. A lot of people have been in the flow for months now, a couple months. It's going to get better. A lot of people are able to find themselves in the flow and remain in the flow. It's beautiful energy. It's beautiful energy. Let's see. Ooh, you know what, Kate? You can walk away all you want, sister, but I've been on this. You and I, yes, I've been this way for many moons. Since 2012. I mean, I've been like this, but since 2012, that's when I went into a store. It was called Rainey's Mystics in San Marcos, where I live in San Diego. Rainey's Mystics. I will never forget her. The minute I walked in the door, I was drawn to the store, and I've been always wanting to go in there. One day I made the attempt, or one day I finally got out of my whatever, and I made the time and I went over there. The moment I walked in that store, the lady Rainey herself, she looked at me. And I had no idea. I didn't own any crystals. I was drawn to everything in her store. I always have been, ever since I was a child. Never checked it out. So anyways, I go to her store and she looks at me and she smiles. She comes up to me and she approaches me. In a few minutes, she lets me go cruise around, and I'm just like a kid in a candy store. She eventually comes up to me and we talk for a little bit. She's like, "Are you looking for anything specific?" You know, that kind of thing, you know, store owner, whatever, you know, very polite, very kind. And it was very interesting because she says, "I have this room back here. Please." You know, so we go to the very back. It's, you know, in the little story. She goes, "If you want to read a book, you can sit back here. You can, you know, whatever, look." And she's like, "Let's talk." So I don't remember exactly what she said, but she's like, "I see you." And it was, I'll never forget it. It was the most amazing moment of my life. Boom. She's seen me. She's seen the real me. She's seen all this. I will never forget her. And the thing about it was that she told me, she's like, there was an automatic connection, whatever it was, but I felt like, you know, that moment. And the thing about it was that she said, "Please be careful when you meet people." You know, she like gave me like this kind of reading, but this knowledge, right? And she said, "Whenever you," she goes, "You're pure, you're innocent, you're, you know, that kind of thing." And I was like, okay. She's like, "You know, whenever you hug somebody," she gave me this advice, "because your heart is pure, whenever you hug somebody, always hug them to the side. Never hug anybody directly on unless you know them, right? Because people can put that and take that from you. If you ever, you know, like people that are like not, it could drain me. It could be whatever. I don't remember exactly what she said, but she said, always hug. If you feel like, if your intuition is telling you something, hug them to the side, like never your heart to their heart, that kind of thing." Very interesting. After that, you know, I left the store. She said, you know, we spoke and I was grateful, and, you know, just, I mean, but that clicked me right there. So I went and I did a couple meditation classes at her place after that, and amazing meditation. I wish I could find that girl. I still put that out there. I wish I could find her. I had never meditated before, but that's what pulled me. That was another time. It was the most amazing energy I will ever, I will never, I can't, I have nothing to compare it to. Truly, truly. And I remember that to this day. And this is what I mean by, there are some people who we cross paths with that set us, I mean, they awaken us to those lovely energies within ourselves. They ignite that fire that has always been there. They bring out things within us, deep within us, that we have been soul searching for ourselves for so long, that missing piece or whatever it may be. It's been in us. It's been deep down within us the entire time. And then we find it because we are guided by somebody who is so, we never knew that they existed or how important they would be to our being, to who we are, to our life purpose, our path. And this is why I always say to everybody, experience things. Go to the bookstore you would never go to. Go explore in places. Find somewhere new to go. Broaden your horizons. Within reason, be safe with everything that you do. But if you're curious about something, find it. Absolutely. Do what you want to do. And Keith is like, I'm like, if you're curious, and Keith is like, and wear your mask. He's such a, anyways. Yeah. So find your passion. Find that fire in who you are. You've always been that. Sometimes it just takes somebody to just, and there it is. I absolutely love it. Yeah, Kate's laughing. You know what? I absolutely love it. I think it's such a beautiful thing. I cannot believe that one person, now I can. And I always think of Rainey. And a couple of months later, a little bit while later, it closed. Her store closed down. I am forever grateful for her. I will never forget her. I Google her. Seriously, I Google her every so often to see if she's up and running again. I want to ask. I want to find out. I want to see where she landed. I want to know exactly where she's at, because that right there, I want to thank her for. And she knew. And this is what I'm saying. When I see what I see in all of you, regardless whether I'm here and you're there, wherever you are, I see you. I see exactly who you are. And that is a message from the higher power through me, acknowledging how badass you all are. And this is something that even people who stood by my side my entire life, whether they're family, friends, or whoever they may be, ex-husbands, ex-relation, or bad relationships, or past relationships, they never seen me. The one thing I've always asked for many of my relationships, my past relationships, is that they never really saw me. When you're with somebody and you spend your life with them and you tell that, and they don't acknowledge you, they don't see you, that's something that I feel in my relationship is very important. Now, Keith sees me. He knows me from who I am. He knows the witch in me. He knows the spiritual healer, the shaman, or whatever. I don't like to define myself because I don't want to bubble myself in. I'm the messenger. That's who I am. So, and Keith acknowledges me. He sees me as that. He doesn't define me. I don't define myself, but he sees that. He sees past this. He sees past this. He sees through all those different things. And when you're in a relationship with somebody, do they really see you? And that's what I asked my exes. I'm like, you never really saw me? Did you ever really see me? They're like, what do you mean? There you go. So, and then you cross paths. Absolutely, Thais. Absolutely. Divine timing for me to meet her when I did. Sometimes sometimes a complete stranger can give you that energy or give you that unconditional love, that kind word, that smile. You know what? When I worked at this last job, regardless, any job, I smile. Wherever I'm at, I smile all the time. I smile at people. It's hard to tell with the mask on, but because my cheeks are so big, like when I smile, my mask goes up. But anyways, even when I'm on the phone, I'm always smiling. Because when you smile, even to complete strangers, why is she smiling? They used to ask me at my last job, the lady would say, the lady would tell me, she goes, you know what? Every time I see you, you're smiling. It's very nice. She's like, you're such a loving person, just kind. And I said, and I'm like, well, yeah, some people think I'm smiling because I did something. I'm like, my smile to you is acknowledging you. My smile to this person over here is acknowledging this person over here. Or sometimes I'm just I'm smiling because I'm listening to Nana or I'm talking to spirits, but I'm smiling because I'm smiling for myself. Because I'm happy. I'm full of unconditional love for myself and all of the good things in life. Yes, absolutely. You carry a smile all the time, right, Kate? Because it is infectious. Have you ever looked at somebody that you could tell that they're just not having a good day and they're just like, and you give them a smile? And yeah, they may not, they may smile back at you, they may not. But I just want them to know I acknowledge you. I see you. Of course, I send them healing. I send them that unconditional love. I ask I call on my spirit guides, and I ask Nana a lot of the times, Nana, can you talk to their spirit guides and just kind of help them, help them through whatever they're going through. Help to lessen their burden. Help them to, in any way that they need, help to give them the guidance. And even a kind word is something that's, I mean, if you're able to speak to them, yeah, that's beautiful stuff. That's good stuff. Whatever, without stepping into somebody's bubble, right? Absolutely. So let me go back here. I saw something here. Let me go back. Louise, Miss Louise, I am so sorry for your mother's passing. I know that today these kind of things, with the celebrations and for Mother's Day, my heart totally goes out to you. It is such a, my condolences to you and your family. My grandmother says that there's you know what? I'm not really getting anything. There is a lady that's stepping forward, but she's like not like speaking at all. I don't know how long it's been since your mom passed. Sometimes it does take some time. I do see a lady and she's just kind of like talking, but I can't hear what she's saying. She's stepping up to me and then she's stepping back, and then she's stepping up to me and then she's stepping back. But she's not saying like anything that I would. Yeah. Maybe in a couple weeks. Sometimes we have to give them some time to make that connection because it takes a lot of energy for them to come through. I'm not really getting anything. Like I said, I see this lady, she's coming up, she's saying something, but it's like, oh, and then she steps back, and then she comes back up, and then she goes back. So I'm sorry, I'm not able to really talk to her. She's not making much sense right now. Yeah, my grandmother's, you know what, Nana is going to talk to her and see what she can do to help her to understand, to maybe she can get a clearer message. She says she's your mom. She says, you know what, I'm okay. I'm shocked. I'm just as shocked as you are. I'm okay. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to leave you like this. Sorry, my head is spinning. She says she's super shocked too. She's like, I didn't mean baby. I didn't mean for this to happen like this. She says that she wanted you to know that she loves you very much and that she's okay. This was never her intention. Like, she's like, oh, she's talking to my grandmother. My head is spinning, sorry. She says she wants you to know that she's going to be okay and she's going to watch over you and she's going to have to take care of you. She says, take care of the kids. I don't know if they're children. She's mentioning kids. She's like, I love you all so very much. See, now I'm having like this kind of not anxiety, but this like energy. She's like, I'm using everything that I can right now to talk to you. She's like, I'm sorry. She's apologizing to me. She's like, I'm sorry, I was so blurred. She goes, she kept running back and forth, running back and forth. She's like burning all this energy. She says, you know what? I'm feeling better now. I'm okay. She's like, I'm thinking that, she goes, maybe I can come back. She's like, she's like, chatty patty. She's trying to get in all this message, you know, like when you call collect, you're like, okay, tell somebody that I'm here. Come here, get up. Like that. She's talking like that, like really fast. It's okay. She's like, yes, I'm telling her she can come back to me and talk to me anytime she wants. She's like, you can hear me. She's like, you can hear me. You can hear me. You can hear me. Yes, I can hear you. She's like, tell my daughter that I love her very much. I love the family. She says that she is somebody who is like, she's like, I just want you to get my message. I just want you to get my message. It's okay. You can slow. You can slow. She says that there was so much more that she wanted to do though too. She says that there's so much that she goes, she wants you to do it for her if you want, but you don't have to. She's super funny. Oh my god, my grandma's like, it's okay, it's okay. It's okay. She's like, I gotta go now. Okay, bye. She's like, but I can come back. I can come back and talk to you, right? I can come back and talk to you, right? She's super cute. Holy cow. She's super cute. Yes, you can come back and talk to me anytime. Anytime you want to. That's fine. Okay, bye. She says, I love you. She's like, she has to go. She has to go. So I think she's still going. How long ago was it that she passed? And she's gone. My grandmother's like, okay, she's gone. My grandmother's like closing it up. Okay. Louise, how long ago did your mom pass? It was recent, right? She's super funny. She's super funny. I love your mom. She's super cool. 2 weeks ago, yeah. Yeah. She's like, I wasn't ready. She comes back, I wasn't ready. She's like, but it's okay. I get it. You know, I think sometimes when they cross over, when they pass you and they cross over, she can come back. She's like, I can come back. I can come back. I can come back. Did she talk like that? Because that's kind of what I'm getting. She's like, I can come back. Yeah, yeah. So she was walking around. So she's like, she loves the flowers. She's walking around um, at the cemetery or where she's buried. She says she loves the view. It's very beautiful. She says that when she sees the other spirits walking around, she gets a little nervous. Yeah, yeah, oh God, she is. She said she still goes to your house. She's in the kitchen. She hangs out. She sits there and she watches you. She's showing me a picture of, like you're in the kitchen, you're at the table and you're crying. You're sitting there and you're looking out the window. She says that she's okay. She stands right behind you. You may feel somebody behind you on the left side. Sometimes when you look back and you're just kind of like, what? And then you look back, that's your mom. So what she's saying too is that she loves you very much. She's like, you know what? It's like, I don't know. I just kind of, oh my gosh, she's so funny. I freaking love her. I love her. Nana's like, my grandmother's funny because she's just like mellow, and your mom is just kind of like, oh, you know, she's like super like high energy. She's so high energy. I haven't been like this in a long time. Like she's like a kid in a candy store. She's just like loving it. She's just like, and that's what happens. That's what happens. They get to the other side and they're just like, yes, yes. This is like, you know, the body is no longer holding them back from things that they wanted to do. And they just have this, it's beautiful energy. She's such a beautiful woman. She's such a beautiful spirit. She's all that. She's all that. So anyway, so she came, she's like, okay, seriously, I have to go now. So now she's like, I'm like, so she's going to hang out for a little bit. She's just totally happy. She's like, don't worry about me. I'm fine. Thank you for everything. I love you so much. She's like, I'm going to be around. She says, I love the bumblebees. The bumblebees will come. She's like, I promise I won't sting you. She's so damn funny. The bumblebees, she's like, and the hummingbirds. She says, the wind chimes, the feathers. Look out for those things. Know that she's around. She's saying honey. I love honey. You know, that kind of thing. going to get these signs from her. You're going to find new pennies, she says. You know, those are like the usual thing people, but look for the signs. Those are usual things that our loved ones on the other side that have crossed over. They bring us these messages, right? They bring, she says mail, sometimes mail. You might hear your name, you're somewhere in the grocery store or somewhere out and about. You're going to hear your name, that's her. She's just trying to talk to you. She doesn't want to scare you, though. That's the thing. Our loved ones don't want to scare us when they get to the other side. You're like, I could just want to hurt my mom. You know what I mean? She doesn't want to scare you. So just those little things. Just know that it's her and that she's totally acknowledging you and that she's just saying hi. She loves you. She's watching out for you and the family. Good stuff. She's super sweet. My head is still spinning. Anyways, I bless you and I leave you with that. She's like, but can I come back and talk to you? You can come back and talk to me anytime. What is your mom's name? Louise, what is your mom's name? Super good stuff. I don't know. Anyways, tell me. Edith. Okay, Edith. Okay, sounds good. Edith, you can come back anytime. She's over there talking to my grandmother now. Okay, good stuff. All right. Okay, let's see here. What is the other one? Emery, you're going to have to just speak your truth. When it comes to your marriage, Emery, if you're still here, you're going to have to speak your truth when it comes to your situation. The situation that you're at is coming to a head. Either it's going to make you or it's not going to break you, but it's going to pivot you into something much better than what you think it's meant to do. Checking the stability in your relationship with your spouse is something that it's time. It's been time to take inventory. Sometimes we get in relationships and we just let things go as they go, and you know what? We never really take inventory or look at like our part in the marriage or in the relationship or friendship or whatever it may be. Am I bringing to the table 110% of what I need to bring, and how can we fix this? Whether it's fixable or not, sometimes we look at other people's energies and we're thinking, how did this come to be? How did I get here today? How did we end up here in this situation? If you were to trail back and look back at your relationship, did you both give in 110%? Were there words never said? Did we take each other for granted? Did we forget to tell each other that we loved each other and mean it? I see so many relationships. Whenever you get in relationships and you're like, oh yeah, I love you. It becomes just another thing that we say, like good morning to people out in the street or to people in our everyday life. Good morning. Some people say I love you and it doesn't mean anything more than it did the day before. The energy that we put behind our words, our expressions, the energy that we put, the intent that we put in everything that we say and everything that we do, that's what drives us. That's the real potency of anything that we do. Are we really speaking our truth? If I tell somebody, my partner, the one I'm deeply in love with, if I tell him that I love him, not only do I show him with the kindness and the little things that I do for him every day, I make sure that in my heart I'm speaking my truth. And when I come into situations where I'm not feeling 110%, like I'm being acknowledged, but I mean, not acknowledged, but whenever I'm feeling like there's something I want to talk about, I speak my truth. I don't hold things in. How many times do you text message somebody and all of a sudden the text message gets misread or misconstrued? No, that's not what I meant in the text message. And people get either like pissed off or they get sad, or all of a sudden they're just like, well, no, that's not what I meant. What I meant was, and then you have that phone conversation to clear the air. to clear those things, and you're like, no, that's not what I meant, but that's what you typed. Text messaging, there's no feeling behind text messaging, unless you're all capital letters, right? That's when people know you're pissed off. The kindness of a soft word through your voice, through a phone conversation. We forget how short or curt we've become with people around us. Text messaging is the all new way. Yeah, when it comes to business and things like that, you want to make sure your messages are clear. But then again, you also want to make sure your messages are very clear when you're in a relationship with somebody who you say that you love every day. You want to nurture that. You want to nourish yourself. You want to nourish them. In order for you to be successful, to be loving, to be everything that you want to be, you have to speak your truth. It has to come from here. The worst thing we can do is sell ourselves short in times like these. Either we wake up or we don't wake up. We hold ourselves to standards that are completely ridiculous because they're somebody else's standards, or some people compare their lives to other people's lives. Love who you are. Honor and cherish everything about yourself. Find it in your heart. And if you're not happy with what you see in the mirror, make the change. Fear is something that holds us back from so much that we deserve. But always remember, sometimes that lesson of fear is allowing yourself to move forward. It's not an obstacle, it's just a seed to push you forward, allowing you to create a much better version of yourself, or a much higher, escalated version of yourself. You see somebody from a year ago and you're like, oh, they're still kind of doing the same thing. You're like, you know what? I pray for you. You might not say it to their face, but then you see somebody, you send them that loving energy, and then you see somebody from last year, you see them today. If you people knew me a year ago, and then compare me from, not compare, but you know what? If you were to look at my life a year ago and look at my life here today, completely different person. I'm moving forward in my passions. I'm not allowing myself to let other people tell me how to live my life. I'm following the bliss and nurturing myself unconditionally. I'm not worried about what other people are doing. Well, besides my children. But then again, they have free will. I can't control what they do. Yes, as mothers, as nurturers, we want to make sure our children do not scuff their knees. We don't want them to cry. We don't want them to hurt. We don't want them to go through all these things. But then again, without those experiences, how will they have stories to tell their children? I learned. I was taught. You can't speak truth when you haven't lived it. You can't speak and give advice on things you know nothing about. That's why I only talk about certain topics, because I only talk about my life topics. I can't tell people about the spiritual laws and not to be a troll on my show, or any show that anybody who's out there trying to do the right thing by certain people. We live by spiritual laws. I live my life by spiritual laws. Because I know how to walk in my truth. I know how to speak my truth. I love myself unconditionally. I'm not here to take anything from anybody. My life purpose is to give. To give to those that need a kind word, some unconditional love, some understanding, a little piece of my day, to help them to understand that things do get better. Trust me, I've survived many shit shows. Things we think that would break us from day one. And here I am. Here I am, living my life purpose with all you beautiful people. Hi, Tracy. Understanding that things will get better. This is not meant to last forever. I remember, I think on one of my shows I said, if you came in and one day the doctor told you have one day to live, what would you do? And you knew that to be truth. What would you do? Would you go around to people that you did wrong and ask for their forgiveness? Would you go find yourself jumping out of an airplane because you want to live the adventure? Would you want somebody to come up to you and, would you go give money away? Would you do foolish things? We all have a way of living. We all find ourselves in uncomfortable situations. But do we take the lesson from that and do we move forward so we don't have to relive that lesson? Or do we keep repeating things that only we know at the end of the day are going to make us feel a certain way? We all have great potential. Whether you guys are aware of it or not, I'm sure a lot of you are. But life is just, I'm telling you, I love to watch Matt Kahn. Matt Kahn is I guess he's like a spiritual guy. He's super cool, super sweet. And I remember the one quote he said is that if it's not happening in front of you, it never happened. If it never happened in front of you, it never happened. And that's something that I go by because there's so much stuff on the news and there's so much stuff here and there's so much stuff there and people this, people that. And you know what's amazing? Is that everybody has their own version of what happened. This version, that version, every other version you could possibly imagine. If it didn't happen in front of you, it never happened. So always speak your truth. Create your adventures. Live your life. Open up to newer things. Send the love and give the love to yourself. Always unconditional. I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. For all the mothers out there, even to the pupper mommers, all the mommies that have pupper babies. We are all here taking care of somebody or something in one way, shape, or form. I love you all so very much. I send you all healing and blessings, abundance, prosperity, of health, wealth, and all the lovely things that God, the higher power, whoever you believe in, could possibly bless you with. I'll see you guys Tuesday. We'll be back, Debbie and I, for free readings on Tuesday. And you guys have such a lovely weekend. I'm so grateful for all of you. Stay safe, and I'll see you guys real soon.